Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is episode 18 of my Reworking the Lot series. Of course, this series started in August of 2021 and was focused primarily on the production and eventual release of Gary Dauberman's remake of Salem's Lot. Now, as we all know, there has been very little information about this film since it was pulled the second time from Warner's release slate. There have been rumors that I have heard about it going to streaming. Warner Brothers is secretly working with Hulu to do a release with them. It just is very quiet still with regards to this release. And back on April 26th, I did my last episode of this series just talking about, you know, there was this Fangoria article that came out, the case of the missing Salem's Lot movie, that talked about the fact that this year's CinemaCon didn't talk anything about the new film, and how it's just kind of, you know, there's no new information about it, and there's so much speculation about it. And today's video is about another article that I just read. So not a lot of new information, but again, you know, sort of an opinion piece about why we might not be hearing anything about it. So I'm going to read this to you guys right now, and I will put a link down in the comments section to the article so people can read it for themselves. It's on this site called We Got This Covered. It says, the reality of 3 of the last 4 Stephen King film adaptations being critically bashed could be why the Salem's Lot remake disappeared. And this was published on the 5th, so just this past Monday. This was written by Taylor Mansfield. It says, ever since spine-tingling stories from horror novelist Stephen King were transformed into a variety of blockbuster film adaptations back in the 1980s and 90s, modern-day filmmakers have been trying to capitalize on that success with a plethora of updated remakes and fresh-faced projects. But with 3 of the last Stephen King film adaptations getting critically panned across the internet, it's worth begging the question as to whether this controversy has stopped the Salem's Lot remake dead in its tracks. As many horror fans are aware, the Salem's Lot remake was initially announced back in 2020, which is wrong. It was announced in 2019 of April. I did a video on this channel, so that's wrong right there. When It director Gary Dauberman first signed on to helm the project. After additional photography, the horror retelling was scheduled to release on September 9th of 2022, just in time for the Labor Day weekend. However, this movie was soon rescheduled for release on April 21st of 2023. Which, much to the chagrin of fanatics everywhere, but when it was soon confirmed that Warner Brothers had pulled the movie from its release calendar entirely, an understandable sensation of panic began to set in. Flash forward to now, and it's certainly no secret that 3 of the last 4 Stephen King film adaptations have been unapologetically bashed by critics. As it stands, 2023's Children of the Corn holds 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Firestarter with 10%, Mr. Harrigan's Phone holds 45%, and The Boogeyman, the only positive score on the pack, boasts 62%. And with the latter being the only flick with a score that isn't completely embarrassing, fans are starting to wonder if Warner Brothers decided to keep Salem's Lot from the public eye for fear that the project will get bashed like the other 3 movies. Considering no mention of Salem's Lot was made at this year's CinemaCon, despite the movie unveiling a full trailer last year, it's safe to assume that something is going on. In a recent thread over on the Our Horror subreddit, a handful of Redditors addressed the movie being placed on the shelf, and honestly, I can't help but agree with most of them. From arguments that Warner Brothers are waiting to see how The Boogeyman performs, to others straight up suggesting the movie sucks and that many reshoots had to be done, it's obvious that the movie is being hidden from the public for one reason or another. At this point, I think I speak for most of the horror community when I say just release it, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, whether Kurt Barlow, the vampire, doesn't look scary enough, or if the dialogue is ridiculously campy, just give it to us already, because truthfully, we're getting a little tired of waiting. And it's hard to disagree with what the writer is saying there, because it is noted that when Firestarter was released on streaming, it was obliterated by critics and fans of the original movie, the book, and the movie didn't do very well. And it was shortly after that, a couple months after that, because that was released on May 13th of last year, and then it was only like 2 months later that Salem's Lot was pulled from its original release date of September 9th. So it could have something to do with that. This is, for me, this has been the strangest, and I've said this many times, and I've even said it with my friends, my Salem's Lot minority buddies, Danny and Sam. I don't understand this whole thing. I really just don't. I've never seen anything like this. And even my friend Ray Fundora, who let me know about Alexander Ward's casting last summer as Barlow, I've said this many times. I don't understand why we haven't seen a thing from this film. Nothing. No publicity stills, no poster, no nothing. And, you know, we're getting to a point where it's almost been a year since they pushed the film out, and we still don't know when it's coming out. Again, something could drop as we get closer to Halloween, but I've really lost my faith that we're ever going to see it. And I'm just going to say that right now. And again, I'm just bringing this information out, something that I saw. I thought it was worth just jumping on here and doing a video on, because it's a disappointment. As much as nothing was going to beat that 79 film, because it's my favorite film of all time, I was curious to see what a new set of creators could do with the property. And it sounded interesting. But at this point, I've just kind of lost faith that we're ever going to see it. And the link to the article that I just read from We Got This Covered, I will put that down below. Just wanted to do this real quick. I don't plan on doing more episodes in this series because right now we're just kind of at a stalemate. There's nothing new coming out, and there really hasn't been nothing new to report outside of one of the actors, you know, Louis Pullman, talking about the film a little bit and how excited he was for it, and then the rating, the runtime, and then just these articles saying, you know, we don't know where the film is and when are we going to see something. There hasn't been really anything since the last test screenings, which took place the first full week of September last year. So again, at this point, it's anybody's guess, but I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Like I said, something just real quick. Thanks so much again for watching, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy, stay scared as always, and remember, you can do nothing against the master. Peace. Hey fellow Fright Fiends, just want to say thank you again for supporting Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. If you're brand new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I typically do this once or twice a week with new content. I've been doing this for over 11 years, and the horror genre is a passion of mine, and it really means a lot to me that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again later. Take it easy, stay scared as always. Peace.